bloody day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Daz Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neeland, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Renee, Rob H, Sally Bellis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Tom Herkins, Unbelievable Productions, and Windrider. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a few people in both the Discord server and G+, so I'll raise the mic on them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Found out, like, in Canada, out of the total cases, like, I don't know in Canada, but I heard like 90% of them aren't really even corona. And when it is, like, the death rate in Canada for it is like 1.1%, which is like nothing worth the fear tactic, even if it is something.
Welcome.
So,
Righteous. The only thing you got to worry about is when they want to inject you with something. This is the whole condition.
I agree.
That's all this other stuff. How many? It's a bunch of nonsense.
Welcome to the Flat Earth Corona pre-show.
Where, with a slice of lime, you can have a beverage and watch the world go down. Oh, not that Corona? I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about that Corona. No, to your question, Righteous. Yeah, I was up all night. I was filming Star Trails with my P900, and it was like, man, I need some sleep. But 2.5 hours later, I had to go get it out of the weather, the camera, because I didn't want to leave it out all night. And then I said, oh, I got enough battery life. I'll do it again. Bad move. I didn't sleep too well. Should have done it once. Anywho, that's what I'm doing. Recovering from Star Trails.
We had a lot of pressure changes here all night, so it just kept me up. Every time I woke up, my ears were whistling and I had a headache, and it's been like that all night.
That's what kind of weather are you guys expecting? Is it getting...
It was windy all night, so there you go.
It's like your body's like a tuning fork, You just know things. So that was a great excerpt you did yesterday from the show. Interesting, Sean G. That was the first time he had come on live while I was here.
Yeah, I'd never spoken to him before.
Well, I don't know. He contradicted himself so many times. I'm just looking over some of my notes, and I'm sure if I go back and listen to the show, I could refine them even more. But I listened to it. What was it, on the way home? Yeah, on the way home, because I visited my parents, and I was laughing, man. That was good. They're just dumb. Like, can't defend it. It's like you use the word untenable, now make it all caps now. These people are crazy.
Yeah, it's the end of the globe model, so there is no turning back, unfortunately.
Yeah, we could change Mr. Sensible to well, at best, you destroyed our globe model. Yeah, That's what you base reality on, right?
I honestly do think it is painful for them at the moment, though, because cognitively, you can hear it in Sean's voice. You know, he's stuttering and stammering, and his voice is cracking at various different points in his explanation of things being both straight and bent at the same time. So at some level, I sensed that he appreciated where he was contradicting himself. And that's got to be painful, right?
Yeah. Well, it's living with contradiction has to be painful. I mean, I hate it whenever I'm put in a position when I have to be indecisive about something. You know, if I want to go do something, then somebody else in my family says, "Why don't we do this, do that?" And then another person chimes in. It's like, wait a minute, this was easy when I was just going to go do this. Now you all want to come with me, and you want to do here, do you want to do that? And I'm trying to figure out when am I going to get back, and just little things in life. I mean, can you imagine this topic, and you're bouncing back and forth from it, or trying to keep up the nonsense of your side when you know it doesn't make sense and it bothers your intellect. Quietly, of course. You're never going to confess it if you're a baller.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, showing everything you see is refracted. Well, I mean, that phrase has come up many times by others too, who are ballers. But how could everything I see be refracted?
It can't. Do you see Quantum Eraser's comment under the video?
What? No, I didn't see what he do.
Said if that was the case, then every single military operation would be rendered obsolete.
Oh yeah, okay, I do remember that statement. Yeah, how true is that?
Yeah, well, you need to see stuff and know where it is to target it. But according to them, because the horizon doesn't match their model, suddenly everything's a mirage.
Well, you can't do geometry then, right? Yeah, let's see who's brave enough to come on today.
Why? Who came on yesterday?
John G.
Sean G. He's always I've seen him in chat, I think, but
Yeah, he left a comment too saying, "I don't think you heard me. I made it clear," or something like that, "that I don't claim we have a physical geometric horizon."
what?
I was like, yeah. My response was, yeah. I welcomed you the first, second, and third time when you relinquished the required geometric physical Earth curve edge horizon required by your globe model, and I'll do it now again. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Well, I'm just flipping through my notes, and I do believe he did say that's the second horizon. Well, what if he's got two horizons and he doesn't believe in the physical one? Why would he call it a second?
Yeah, we've only got one horizon.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Yeah, he said second horizon. It was nice and clear. But yeah, we don't have a second horizon. The horizon is the position where the sky appears to meet the ground. There's only one of them. Like on screen now, there's only one. But they require a second one that only exists in their model that's geometric but not seen. Now, a horizon by definition is a visible location. That's what a horizon is. But they're saying they've got a second, non-visible, apparent position where the sky meets the ground. No, you don't. If you don't have one, you don't have one. It's only in existence in your geometric model. Hence, the model's debunked. It doesn't match reality. It can't. End of the line, globe model.
As I said last week, on their second horizon, that's on no Atmo day. It makes 1 week. Don't come with a weak argument.
And no Atmo day is the day that the rebellious gas particles, the ones that decided to stop arbitrarily, they decide to have a day off and, you know, not be rebellious anymore. And today we're going to fill that sky vacuum. We're going to expand in all directions as dictated by gas law. No longer will we defy that natural law. We're going to go away so everyone can see the geometric horizon today.
I can just see store signs, store close to due to no atmo day, gas particles acted rebelliously.
Stores closed. Stay at home. The sky vacuum's not taking it. The sky vacuum's going to take effect in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, better luck with no atmo day than the stupid phony virus. Oh gosh, too funny, man. It's good that we can laugh at some of this stuff. Yeah, I think what's happening, Nathan, is that Jedi mind trick that they used to fool everyone is finally catching up with the Glovers who have to defend it, and they're realizing it's a Jedi mind trick all along.
Yeah, stating we don't need the thing we used to use to prove Earth curve. Just don't worry about it. Hand wave.
Yeah, and it wasn't too long ago, ballers and trolls, that the things that obstructed the bottom of ships and buildings was your physical Earth curve. What happened to it?
Black swan. That's all that's happened. Black swan.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't admit to it.
They don't need to. In an attempt to defend the black swan, they relinquish the geometry the black swan's debunking in the first instance. So it's still the namesake is absolutely ideal. You know, at the start of the argument, when the explanation came for the Karl Popper example of you only need one to debunk the idea that you have all white swans. Well, up until the point that we pointed out the black swan argument, all horizons were geometric. You were drawing tangent lines through the bent refracted light that's being claimed beyond the horizon. That physical Earth curve that's blocking the thing that you're measuring with geometry. Now, well, we never see a geometric horizon. Yeah, that's because we've had a black swan. So they're never going to be all white swans, all geometric horizons ever again. Now that, you know, saying the black swan's dead but simultaneously justifying why it's refracted. It's like, no, you don't get the argument.
Well, I think the simplest thing you ever said was, well, then welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah.
They're arguing our position.
It's in parentheses in Quantum Eraser's presentation at my request. So he just puts after the statement, the P statement is a straw man, welcome to Flat Earth. We do not see a geometric horizon, welcome to Flat Earth.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Is that Neil?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's Neil. I'm just letting people know, Nathan, that they either contribute or they get moved to the live show once the live show starts. You know, the link for the actual YouTube thing. Because if they're not going to contribute, they don't need to sit in the live show. They can listen to the live show on YouTube. So I'm just moving people out as and when they just sit there on mute.
No, I'm very grateful
for
your
work.
I will contribute.
Just one sec. Just very grateful that you did it yesterday. It worked like a charm. And grateful you've disclaimed it verbally now for the audience's benefit. Thank you very much indeed, Sleeping Warrior. You're a star.
Yeah, I just find it like unacceptable that they just sit there doing nothing. It's like they don't need to be there. They can have the same experience after the show, during the live show on YouTube. So you may as well go on there. And that way we don't have to look through 15 or 25 people when someone leaves the mic open.
Precisely. I don't mind so much in the after show. That's just how it is, to keep an even balance between, you know, everyone getting a fair opportunity all at once in the after show, and the live show having a dozen people all saying nothing, just sat there, not generating any discussion. It's like, well, yeah, sod off, go and sit in the live audience and watch it. Don't sit in the panel where there could be a gap for somebody who does actually want to challenge something we say. Like Sean, credit to him.
It's passive trolling, Nathan. They're sitting there on silence. They used to come in and like tell us all the affirming the consequent fallacies, like, well, if the Earth turns, then sunrise will happen, and all that nonsense. And now just sit there in silence.
Mitchell from Australia released a video. I don't watch Fight the Flat Earth, but I do watch Mitchell from Australia, and he released a snippet of his debate with, Nathan Thompson's debate with Fight the Flat Earth, and he went through some of the nonsense that he spewed. I didn't actually realise just how stupid Fight the Flat Earth actually is.
Shocking. But he's got this, like, he has this, like, the way he presents his arguments is so confident that he can't possibly be wrong. And if you slow it down and you listen to what he says carefully and don't let him go fast, then a lot of the things he says are wrong. But he says it with such, like a teacher to a student. He does it in that poise that it's difficult to just not accept it.
It's bravado. That's what it's called.
And by the way, Tony, the sun rises because the rooster crows.
Exactly.
Certainly correlates.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Sorry, Chocolate, we didn't tell you that the clocks went forward. We missed you yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I got on yesterday. It was, and with that, I was like, what the hell? Yeah, good times.
Did you listen to the show again?
Nah, I didn't. I need to, but I didn't go back and listen to it. I was a little busy.
You only need the last 20 minutes when Sean G joins. The rest of it's all.
Yeah,
I've trimmed it out.
yeah.
So
I
if
mean,
you
I
wanna see that bit.
caught the after show part of it, but like when he showed up before the show ended, I was just like, oh my god, Sean G was here. I didn't get to ask him if rockets are actually matter.
You might have got the same answer, just a pass. I don't think. I'll leave that for the panel to answer. Was that his response?
I listened and it
What's-
got me angry all over again.
What's the reference to rockets and matter, Chocolate?
Well, I don't know, him and Jose, I guess people on Jose's show were having a discussion about open systems and closed systems and isolated systems. And I guess they were trying to figure out which is which. And they brought up rockets and are rockets matter? So would a rocket leaving this system, would that be considered matter? So Jose asked him, well, in your opinion, are rockets matter? And Sean G says, well, maybe somebody else on the panel can answer that. Like, okay.
What's it made out of, Sean?
That's what I wanted to know. I'd like to know if rockets are considered matter in his opinion.
That
Question
because
before that
Newton's
was,
law of
can we use
gravitation
electricity
as a
as an
force can be
independent
used to
variable?
a certain extent, which is also my understanding. I don't have to look at it as not a force, but as a bending of space-time, because I don't understand general relativity. So there.
In this example right here, this is a good diagram. Isolated, no matter or energy enters of leaves. This solid, sealed. Closed, energy enters and leaves, but material does not. Got the energy of the sun bouncing in and out. And then open, both energy and matter enter and leave. You got the energy of the sun, and you got, like, for example, you get a splash of water, and you got the water. So water is considered matter. But then when a rocket leaves over here, and we exchange this one little line with a rocket, with a big, fat Elon Musk rocket with some satellites, what is it considered? Is it energy or is it matter, like a droplet of water? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm not sure if someone on the panel could answer.
Wow.
So you heard that, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
So water, they're clear on water's matter, but they're not clear on rockets. Okay.
Water down rocket, maybe?
I don't know, man. Fucking
These are weird people.
brain cell losing clown show.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, Righteous Force, Chocolate Sane and 10th Man in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Hey.
Any signs of a physical reified Earth curve edge, formerly known as the geometric horizon, in the geometric Earth curve model?
We don't see the geometric horizon.
We certainly see it. In their
Everything's
model, though, don't we?
refracted.
It's definitely there in their model. Just being told that we don't see the geometric horizon is to assert that we don't see the horizon in their model.
Do we live on a model?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the
So
models,
that doesn't pertain to anything we're talking about then.
well, we're told, or we were told, that the model is a representation of reality. However, their representation of reality has a horizon that isn't visible, and isn't the horizon we see, therefore doesn't match reality.
Right. So they have a representation of reality that doesn't match reality. Awesome.
Indeed. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Otay Mesa Drive.
Not from 2 blocks away from there.
Okay. Any signs of axial rotation?
Not of the Earth-based variety. Sorry.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
They're not in the fields of science to even give it properly, other than an observation, the first part.
Any signs of a distance to the sun?
It's over there, according to Arvin.
Is he here yet? Nope, no, he's not here yet. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Impossible.
I tried that once.
You
I tried that once with a flat tire.
You tried it once with a flat tire?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Did you go into the garage and say, here's my rim, put some air pressure around that, the tire's quite expensive, but the air's nice and cheap?
Actually, I had a hole in the tire, and I'm saying, why isn't it working?
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Negative and no.
Last but by no means least, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Why don't you ask Remy the Beardo, see if he responds?
Who?
In the Discord server, Remy the Beardo. He's not on mute. Let's see if he contributes. If he doesn't, I'll just move him.
Okay.
Come on, Remy.
Wait a second. The room is pretty low. You don't have to move him.
No, I do. I'm sick and tired of seeing him in there. We've had this conversation. They're not coming in to sit on mute.
Agreed.
Remy, Are you there, Remy? Can you answer that question for us?
Guess not.
Alrighty then. That concludes the housekeeping.
It's getting quicker. They're here to tell us how wrong we are about everything. I don't understand.
Yeah, we need to gain clarity on how they're not claiming that they've got a physical geometric Earth curve edge as depicted in their geometric Earth curve model. Hey, Arwin.
Remy's off mute.
Hey, Remy.
How's the weather over there, Nathan?
Yeah, rubbish.
Rubbish?
Well, fair to middling.
Hey, Remy, is gravity a force?
No.
No. Excellent. What about Ryan Etherton? Etherington. Is gravity a force, Ryan?
Gravity is not a force by any means.
Excellent. Do you know what gravity is?
No, that's why I'm here.
Good. A good start. Now I can see who's talking. At least we're getting some interaction from the Discord server. Thank you very much.
Hey man, I chime in when I got something to say.
Well, we want more conversation because it's a bit boring with all because we don't want an echo chamber around here. We want someone to come in and tell us about the shape of the Earth.
Well, I can tell you what I'm seeing in Oklahoma right now. It's just quiet.
Yeah.
Got the hell out of
No
Southern
evidence.
California for a little bit, man. It was getting up.
So what about Brian Mabbott to you there, sir? What can you tell us about gravity? Is it a force?
No. Oh dear. Tony, you should know better than that.
I do. I'm just making sure that we're having some interactions. I find it boring chatting to 10th Man and Chocolate and Arwin all the time. As much as I love them, it's just a little bit more colourful to have somebody else telling me that gravity's not a force. It's good that the conversation's getting to, they're getting around people and people are hearing that gravity's not a force. It kind of removes a lot of their arguments.
Well, I did your test with the egg and come up with the same results as you did. So manipulating the density of the water affected the egg. So it can only be density.
Yeah, the thing that you manipulate is the cause. It's not the thing that you infer and then mathematically calculate for and then demand that it's true. That's not what the cause is in a scientific test. It's the thing that you manipulate. Well done for trying. I'd be interested to know if anybody did do the egg test that didn't get the same results as me, because that would be an interesting conversation.
Of course
I think that would be a big no-no.
Go on, Nathan.
That's just the same thing the guy on Discord said. Well, absolutely not. No one's going to get a different result to you.
Yeah, that's the problem. They know that there's no point trying it. I mean, it's good to teach children because children are all taught gravity in school. But as we know, being taught gravity in schools are technically a lie because all the teachers that do high school teaching have got a degree in physics. And you get taught in physics at degree level that Einstein's gravity is currently the considered acceptable physics for gravity. And that's not actually a force, it's an effect. So all the teachers do know that gravity is not a force, yet they still teach children that it is a force. But if you get your child who's now on home, social distancing, and you do the egg test with them, and then you don't manipulate gravity and you make the egg move, then you have a whole different conversation, don't you? So I hope all the kids these days are getting taught alternative science that we can repeat and we can test ourselves, and we can explain these things by doing a little bit of manipulation of the medium. And it's getting a lot more people are getting interested in the education side now, and I love it.
Have you got any updates in that regard? A couple of trolls will ask me about it because you did a GoFundMe for it.
Say again.
The GoFundMe you did. I haven't heard anything about it for a while, and it's not because trolls are saying, "Oh, you did a GoFundMe," and then it's just come to nothing. Well, obviously not, but you just haven't given us a recent update on it.
Correct, I haven't heard anything myself, but according to Mark Taylor, I failed it, and I don't know how he knows that, given that I don't even know it yet. Maybe he's found solace with Ranty, because Ranty seems to be credible now. Mark Taylor thinks Ranty's credible because he's using Ranty as his citation, yet he's never used Ranty in his entire life. And I just find it incredible that Ranty's all of a sudden become credible for Mark Taylor. It's astonishing, that, isn't it?
Yay. Ranty's finally building up credibility.
Yeah. I saw his post. He's put a community post on this morning at some point. And I just happened to be on the computer at the same time that he was. And someone told me about it within a minute or two of it being on. And all it was a black screen with some text on it. Somebody claiming to have the symptoms of coronavirus and receiving a clinician's diagnosis over the phone for being diagnosed with coronavirus. So I just made a black screen, put a load of text on it myself, and did the same thing. If that's the standard of evidence that some people are accepting for proof, then it's not particularly high, is it? A black screen with some white text on it, guys. Come on.
Can we see the density tower in the text?
It's like the same expertise as quantum entanglement had. Remember?
Same type of expertise as quantum entanglement. You'll have to remind me.
It's from the Darth video.
Not familiar.
Showed the stats, remember?
Can't remember. What was
you
that?
Already
You saying?
forgot it. It's not even a week
Yeah.
ago.
What were you saying, Brian Mabbott?
I've just posted the density tower in the text there. What I want to set up as a sort of a mind experiment is, if the center one there is, well, about the middle is milk. If we drop milk in from the top, it would assumedly sink down to its density level. But then if we injected it below itself, something like in the corn syrup, would it go upwards or downwards?
Well, if I did a little bit of maths, right, and I calculated it, that would be considered acceptable proof by some people. But in the real world, when you do science, you have to actually test it, and then you see what it actually does. So you'd have to test it. You'd have to experiment.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But with all this going on, I just ain't had time. But on the assumption that the milk being injected below itself into either the maple syrup or the corn syrup would go upwards, proving there's no downward force at all.
So when you said it was if you injected the milk in between which two layers? The dish soap and the maple syrup?
Between itself, what I'm talking about, Tony, is with a long straw going down through the layers into either the next layer down from the milk or the one below that, the corn syrup, and injecting it into that layer and see which way it travels.
Well, you know which way it's going to travel because you've got relative density shown on screen. You're showing where the milk is. It's going to rise into the milk, isn't it, if you did it a layer or two below the milk?
So where's your gravity gone?
And not only that, if you were to get a fluid that was a known density that was sat between milk and, say, maple syrup, it was more dense than the milk but less dense than the maple syrup. And if you then used your straw and injected it in between the two layers, you know that it's going to be forced into that position because you already knew its density. But it would laterally displace before it got to the edges of the container, and then it would lift everything above it. So when ballers say, well, why is it always up or down and never sideways? Well, volume is the answer to that, because if you were to inject it into a known position where you knew where its relative density would sit, it would indeed displace laterally, contrary to the claim and the ignorance of ballers that don't think it could.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that it takes its easiest route to its density level.
It just seeks its point of neutral buoyancy or relative density equilibrium. It's entropy, basically. You're looking at the effects of entropy. It's finding its lowest state of energy or ability to do work in line with entropy.
Yeah.
Elijah, are you there, sir?
Is he off mute? Elijah's. He does talk. He's just. Yeah, he's off server mute.
Hey, good morning, guys. What's up?
Good morning.
What's up, Eli? Good, bro.
What's up, Chaco? Everybody.
What's your
See
position
you,
with
Neil,
gravity,
Chat.
Eli? Is it a force or is it not a force?
What?
Gravity.
What force? Like a fart?
Yeah, is gravity a force? Can it make things move?
Hasn't proven to do that.
Correct. No evidence that gravity is a force. It's been defined by Einstein since 1915 as an effect of the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass. That means we know what it's defined as, and we know what causes it, contrary to those that tell us that they don't really know what it is, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Have you ever seen the interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson where he says, next question, when he's asked what's gravity? And he goes, next question. And then he says, well, we don't really know what it is, but we know what it does. Well, we know what relative density disequilibrium does too. So how can you support gravity when we can support relative density disequilibrium, but you can't demonstrate gravity?
Yep. You should hear what Neil deGrasse has to say in his master classes when he's saying Einstein didn't supersede Newton. It encapsulates it. I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I gotta go get some popcorn for this.
That's very weaselly. It's just like when like people like, I don't know, fight the flat earth say gravity isn't really a force, but it acts like a force, and then you can calculate it as a force and all these things. If it's not a force, it isn't pushing anything. It isn't pulling anything. It's not a force. Say again.
They said
You're cutting out, but hello, Neil. You can just hear Anthony scraping.
Somebody's watering their plants or shaving.
Ooh, maybe that's me.
it's not me.
I think he's got a push to talk issue. Like, hold on to push to talk longer.
New Yorks don't have a issue with push or talk.
Hey.
You have to set it up in your settings, Neil.
Yeah, I know. Mine is on automatic.
What's up, Neil?
Well, the question I have is, can electricity be used as an independent variable?
Well, you manipulate the electricity flow. So if you turn electricity on and off, I would say that would be a valid independent variable.
Okay.
Are you thinking about the criminal justice system where someone gets electrocuted for their crimes? There's the independent variable that caused their death. Is that what you're thinking?
Exactly.
What charges were brought up against them?
Oh my God.
Oh, he's off.
Chocolate, don't make me switch the subject.
Stop.
You are
a
the
very
king of
current
puns.
topic.
Somebody else say something because you'll just keep going.
Let me transform your life.
That's funny.
Come on, ballers. Is that it? Sleeping Warrior, no more in the
Yeah, I remember the days back in the day when I first joined, and there was like Curved Water and Paul Voigt and a load of monks that used to tell us all these things. And I remember when me and Nathan were chatting one day, and we had Paul Voigt up against the ropes, and we were pummeling him. And when I noticed that there was Paul Voigt, and at the same time there was a couple of other people that got hammered. And what happened was the ballers were rescuing them when they were getting cornered. The ballers were rescuing them to try and deliberately divert the conversation away from the point that they were getting hammered on to some other point that was irrelevant, so long as their mate didn't get hammered. And I said to Nathan, why do we allow them to get away with that? Why don't we keep them in the corner and pin them? And Nathan said one day, he says, do you know what? I'm going to do that. Let's not do that anymore. Let's pin him in the corner. And ever since we've done that, he's kind of become a victim of his own success because the ballers can't come in anymore. They'll claim victim status because Nathan muted this, that, and the other. But the reality, of course, as we all know, is that these guys can't come in because they can't prove any of their claims to be true. But they can argue Cavendish and they can argue pendulums, but none of these are proofs. They're just claims. They're supporting evidence that when you start criticizing and challenging the actual evidence presented, it falls apart every time. And when they don't have one of them, they'll have an affirming the consequent logical fallacy instead. I said, like, if the Earth's turning, then the sun will rise and set. But then if the Earth is turning, planes have got to be affected by it too, right? And then we argue about planes forever so that everyone gets confused. But I remember the days when the ballers used to come in and they used to have the upper hand, both morally, evidentially, ethically. All the upper hands were there. And now it's the absolute opposite way. They daren't come into Nathan's because they've all been toe-tagged numerous times. I don't know, it's glorious on the one hand, but it's disappointing on the other how weak their model actually is. Their working model doesn't do what they tell everyone it does.
Yeah, but back then, remember, they were telling us that there was all this science that proves we live on a globe. Remember? The body of science, remember that? That's what we were told. Well, we don't hear that anymore, do we?
Well, we hear that science don't prove anything now.
Yeah. Things done changed, huh? All of a sudden, what happened, guys? I don't know. There was all this science that proved that we live on a spinning ball, but 2020 is here, and now we hear science doesn't prove things. So apparently there's no scientific evidence that we live on a ball? Okay. That's you guys saying it. No, that's not us. We're the ones asking you guys, where's the science that proves that we live on a globe? Even though it's not a scientific question. But yeah, you guys assert it. So we ask, where is all the science? All of a sudden, nah, there's no science. Science doesn't prove things. There's no science for the globe. There's no body of science. We don't hear that nonsense coming from Rumpus anymore.
Well, they still have the body of science. It's just DOA. They're dragging it. They're dragging it.
Oh man. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I had a
that'd be a good meme.
scientist come to my church. An astronaut scientist come to my church and said that he went to was one of the last guys to go to the moon. And it was supposed to be a done deal because he gave his testimony in church. And I was supposed to believe that.
Do tell. When did this happen and who was it?
I'll try and get his name, but it happened in Times Square Church, a very big church in Manhattan. Very well-known pastor. David Wilkerson started it and also started the Teen Challenge drug programs. So it's a well-known church. I'll get his name, though.
And what did he say? What was his claim? I didn't catch all of it.
They went to the moon.
What?
And
Your priest said he went to the moon?
Not his priest. It's a church, and they invited a speaker who happened to be a person who claimed to go to the moon and probably claiming to be a Christian at the same time.
Oh, one of the astronauts. Okay. Interesting.
You can't get thrust in a vacuum.
What vacuum?
The alleged vacuum.
There we go. The alleged one.
Yeah, you can't get thrust. They claim that you can get recoil, which you can get recoil, but not enough to get you across the solar system to get you to Mars.
You can't even demonstrate a vacuum without a container.
It kind of like pissed me off, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm with you. All lies should piss you off.
Wait, so Neil, so you said what? One of the astronauts came by your church and was talking?
Absolutely. Him and his wife.
What?
Stood up at the
Wow.
pulpit and started proclaiming all this nonsense.
Did he explain the harnesses on his waist?
I bet he had all his fingers crossed.
Is there anybody in Discord that has a problem with us living on a flat stationary plane? Anybody have a counter to that?
They're all gone. They're all gone ever since Sleeping Warrior decided to say, or what say you? They either don't say anything or they're not there to be asked.
They live in the text chat now. It's so sad.
They live in the text
Blame
chat.
it on the Black Swan.
It is logical, though, you know, when you perform housekeeping on a daily basis, things are going to be pretty clean up, and all the vermin are going to, stay behind. They're not going to just scour around as much as if you wouldn't clean up the place all the time. So it does
Well,
make
when you clean your house, you got less roaches, right?
Yeah.
So we have less roaches coming in, asserting their nonsense.
Yeah.
I get it, because we keep our house pretty clean here.
Vermin nuts.
Man, I'm kind of embarrassed. This early bird show today, I literally did not mention the word flat earth once beside just the name of the show. Just didn't come to it. Nobody in chat brought it up either.
What were you talking about?
Everything else.
Like what?
Corona, 5G, mind control, medical industrial complex conspiracy, future things planned out for like 50 years, how that actually works, what we should be expecting, why the Crisis Act, why do they think it's worth it, how much are involved are they, how much in the know are they, the people that actually do it.
Oh, right. Do you know what I was doing?
Taking a shower?
I was dancing to Super Fast Jellyfish with my eldest daughter. It was great.
Oh, cool.
I kind of lost track of time. I was having so much fun.
That's great. Very important. Have enough fun with your kids while they're still fun. You just wait until they're teenagers.
Yeah, went out
They're
scootering.
fun. They're
watered the
fun then too.
sunflowers. It was nice.
That could be. Depend.
Just have a full refrigerator.
My advice in the current situation is get yourselves out of the house, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, turn off your TV and get rid of social media. That'd be my advice.
Except
good
for
advice.
the Flat Earth debates and the Flat Earth Early Bird show, and of
It's
course.
education. I don't count this as social media.
Oh, okay. You don't?
No, this is
YouTube not?
No, I list the show as education.
But it is a social media platform, right? And there's like chats going on live and all that.
Right.
Isn't it?
Don't you drop.
Social media?
Admittedly, some
Don't
people,
you
Arwin,
drop.
like yourself, will discuss the current social climate. Other people, like me, will try and educate people about natural science and the natural world they face. But I class that as education, and I very much scorn people who try and talk about social media events.
Okay, I get it. I thought I was approaching it like more like a platform, social media platform, where you have the TV platform, then you have the internet with programs in which you live interact with other people a lot, like chats. I always classified that as social media.
Yeah, I can't
which is
disagree with you.
super overgeneralized, but
I agree, no matter how educational your channel is. So we talked about Lewis Rossman about a month ago, and he has a channel that's doing board level repair on Macs mostly. That's what he streams. Him with his soldering iron and his heat gun, and him doing repairs at board level. But he's still talking about the social situation. So granted, even if you are an educational channel and every bit of content is still educational, we're people. And we're sociable animals, therefore we're going to be talking about stuff that's social, and that's just the way of life. However, I still classify this channel as an education channel. So there we go.
all right. Well, so do I. My channel.
But it
that
is educational. I learned so much just from listening to your show, listening to QE, Arwin, everybody. I learned a lot. I may not be able to articulate it, but I do know this one thing. I do not live on a spinning water ball. So you've got to be doing something.
You got to go through you got to wade through the conspiratard nonsense to get to this stage, though. So this. I haven't only ever done Flat Earth debate. Prior to this, I had Flat Earth UK, which was interviews with anybody and anybody that had anything to say about the subject, so I could gather information on the subject. So I heard all sorts of stuff about Masons and devil worshipping and you name it. All of that stuff I've done. I've listened to people and what they've got to say about the subjects. I've taken, what's Tiger Dan? Chew the meat, spit out the bones. That's what you got to do. If you want to listen to stuff that's conspiratorial in nature and my take on it or my gathering up that information, go and listen to a few Flat Earth UK shows, and depending on who I'm interviewing at the time, you'll hear all sorts of crazy stuff come out of people's mouths, and you can take it or leave it. But on this show, it's a different kettle of fish. We're debating the subject to educate people, and our side of the story is always going to be the same basis. It's going to be it's not going to be educational on the basis. Sorry, the education is going to be natural world base, i.e., express your views on the nature of the world you face. That's what we're asking for, because that's what we discuss. Now, I'm not going to stop you if you're going to, in the pre-show, discuss what your feelings and thoughts are about the current social media propaganda. That's perfectly acceptable in the pre-show, but during the live debate, nah. I only see this as having one purpose. And people, you're very narrow into... Yeah, we are. Like science, very narrow. Well, that's just how you are when you focus on a specific subject matter. In this case, the nature of the reality we're in.
Much respect for that. It goes up and down like a seesaw because, it's like you want your fill and then the world changes and everywhere else is about 5G, blah, blah, blah. And now I have to come here to hear about science and flat earth. It's the only
I thought exactly the same
Not
thing.
the only place, but the only place that I know is designated during this show to only be about flat earth.
Right. To be perfectly honest with you, I have the same exact feelings. I rewatched my own edited video yesterday. Typically, I won't, other than watching them go out for the chat, I won't rewatch an edited stream. I've spent hours in front of it. But as I scrolled through all of the garbage that's in my subscriptions feeds and on the home pages and the non-stop exposure to propaganda that they want you to consume, I'm like, well, what am I going to watch? Oh, I'll watch my own show again. Because that was literally my only option based on about 20 minutes of searching through non-stop stuff covering the same crap. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I've got rid of my TV so I don't have to expose myself to it. I know it's nonsense. I don't need telling from someone else's point of view how non-nonsensical or sensical it is. I don't want it. So yeah, I watched my own show again. I watched the edit of Sean getting his ass handed to him instead, which I enjoyed. I've got to be honest.
You could, if you get bored with that, you could always watch the early bird show again.
I do. I typically do. That's why I said I was just ended up losing track of time because I was having so much fun dancing to super fast jellyfish.
I like to watch Tony's videos sometimes.
Who?
When he's at the ballers again. It's like so silly in a way, but he does it in such a fabulous Tony fashion.
Oh, Tony,
thanks,
Sleeping
Alan.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
certainly
love the
learned
way
a lot.
he edits his videos. Sorry, Neil.
No, I was saying I certainly learned a lot. There's no doubt about it. And David Weiss, deep inside the rabbit hole, I heard him mention you one day, Nathan. I didn't know who the heck you are, but I searched it out. Boy, I'm glad.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I bark on non-stop about people sharing the show and how important it is and how critical it is currently. Now, I don't typically do that anyway, but at the moment it's more important than ever. And hearing that that is precisely how you've come to my channel doesn't surprise me, but it makes me pleased. I'm very pleased to hear that. You know, there's a reason why I go to quite a lot of effort to shout out other channels and promote people who are completely unknown. They're not putting any less work to their videos in most instances than I am. So, they, you know, to a certain degree, they deserve to be at least heard by a few people. And given that we don't get promoted within the internal structure, we've got to do it ourselves. That's why it's so critical that people share the shows.
Yep.
But on the other hand, same goes for people like, you know, people like me and David Weiss and Eddie Bravo. You know, the amount of people he's brought my way, it's in excess of 1,000 subscribers. From a shout out from Eddie Bravo, a very good shout out, admittedly, but nonetheless, he's directed people in my direction. Now, they weren't going to come any other way than him telling them to come here. So, you know, I can only applaud the people who actually go to the effort of saying, this is the channels I watch. I got the idea from Jeronism. So he just one day went through all the channels he watched. This is a good channel, that's a good channel. Check it out. And I was like, I will. Thank you very much. Because I hadn't heard of the most of them. And then same with Sleeping Warrior. Sleeping Warrior said to me one day, have you heard of Roxanne the Globalist Denier? Who? I'm like, oh, you need to watch this girl. She's fantastic. She's doing X, Y, and Z. It's right up your street. So I go and search her out. And I'm like, bloody hell, how do I not know about this person?
Right. And how many of them by now have filled up our ranks?
And can you imagine if we hadn't have gone and checked her out? She'd have done the whole Global Lite tour and we would have had no idea it was happening. We might have run across it randomly through word of mouth, but we're not seeing any cross-pollination, are we?
We would have bumped into her after a while anyway, you know.
Would we?
Well, I would have during the Amsterdam conference.
Yeah, and how many other people at the Amsterdam conference that you hadn't got a clue who they were strolled right past you? Quite a few.
I don't know, half of them, I'd say.
Right.
But I did already kind of know their face in some ways. Just not people, like I kind of knew they were around, most of them.
The point is, Arwin, that you knew exactly who she was and went over to her and probably chatted because you knew who she was already. Had she have not been exposed to you for whatever reason, there'd be no reason to stroll over and say hello.
True. That's a good point.
I would have said hello.
Yeah, I heard that tone. Yes, if you don't know who Roxanne the Globalist Denier is, she's an attractive woman. So therefore, she's going to get a certain degree of attention. Most of it negative from arseholes, I'll be honest. Let's be real about this. But yeah, I sense your tone, Chocolate.
Well, I tend to be kind of hesitant to step towards new ladies. It's the worst trait ever for a guy, but I'll freaking white knight for her. Absolutely.
This is not a dating site. This is not a dating site.
I was going to put in my 2 cents, but never mind.
I'm a happily married man. But she is attractive.
Oh my god. Yes, she is attractive. Can we move past that now? I don't want the only information about Roxanne to be the fact that she's an attractive woman. So let's all sit in silence and dwell on how attractive she is for a few moments, shall we? Rather than talking about the fantastic work she's done on the Globe Live tour, the fantastic work she does at Speaker's Corner, the fantastic shows that she runs on YouTube, all the stuff that she's done to expose the general public to the subject. Yeah, let's just focus on how attractive she is. Yeah, great. Wonderful.
Yeah, she is
stuff's
awesome.
cool too.
I do got to give her props for that. She is definitely awesome.
Right. That's
beyond the looks.
Roxanne's ace.
Yeah, Roxanne is ace. And the whole point of this starting off conversation was that a lot of us hadn't got a clue who she was until some of us started to actually share other YouTubers' material to our own audiences, regardless how big or small they are. And this filters all the way down to you as an audience member. You've all got a share button in front of you for a reason, and that's our only means of exposure currently. Now, hopefully that will change back, and our live shows will be appearing in subscriptions feeds. But until people actually realise that, no, that's just not going to expose any of the information to any audience unless it's shared directly by you. You might be a big YouTuber with lots of people, and you think, oh, well, it's not really going to affect that person if I give them a mild shout-out. Yeah, it will. It will make a huge difference. That dude I talked about, Anti-Globe, he had 3 subscribers. Now he's got 80. Well, that's purely because I made a video about him and said, look at this guy's ace. And he is. But had I have not done that, would YouTube have promoted him? No, he'd still have 3 subscribers, making tons and tons of videos.
You mentioned my cooking show. I'm up to 91.
Oh shit, 10 man, that's right. I was supposed to be following that. I promised myself I would.
92 and counting.
I subscribed right away because my wife loves to cook. So we're right on it.
How attractive is 10th Man's cooking? Let's go there.
And you can also watch cat videos on YouTube. That's there's plenty of other non-flat earth material. Yeah, obviously I'm torn when it comes to promoting your channel there, 10th Man. Given that it's 10th Man dishes and you're doing barbecue.
That's spicing it up a bit, Nathan.
It's just dire. You're going to drag this plug out, aren't you? I can tell.
That was good.
So still have a couple of gaps on Discord. There are still seats if somebody wanted to come in.
I'm actually typing something up I'm going to post and see what you think about it. I'll be back.
The Truth Acknowledge. Can't see the rest of your name. Hello. And hello, Darren. And hello, John.
Daryl might be having mic issues. Says,
Oh, that's what was gonna happen to me if I didn't say, "Hey guys." He said "end gun." I just heard the click and I seen the name removed.
Where's he gone? Did Anthony was a bit too trigger happy?
Darren has mic issues, I think.
Oh, I see.
He said we can't hear him.
Been a couple of super chats I've missed, so big shout out to Mind Warped. I'm glad I caught it because I keep missing his super chats. I don't know how it happens, but I miss his super chat, so I'm glad I've managed to actually shout this one out. Mind Warped, thank you very much indeed. Brilliant channel, self-promotion. Been here a while, fellas. Hope you're all well. Indeed. So right click on Mind Warp, check him out. He's got a YouTube channel. He does make content. Be here or be sphere on the Mind Warp channel. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat. Also, a massive shout out to Good Servant. Nathan, feel happy about you. I want SUBS subs. Oh, you want subs too, Good Servant. Okay, shout out to Good Servant. I think he's saying he wants people to go and subscribe to him. Check out Good Servant channel. I'm more than happy to promote you both. So yeah, check him out. Yep. Right click on his name, click the 3 dots, go to channel, subscribe today. Check it out. I'm getting paid to shout people's channels out. You don't have to pay me. But I'm really grateful for the support all the same.
Well,
they can repay you by sharing your show. So it becomes like a trade economy.
Yeah, I do kind of hint at that. You know, the most important thing you can do is smash the share button. Go on, whoever that was in Discord, opening their mic, giving us feedback. Neil or Darren? Alrighty
I
then.
think that was Neil. Darren's still trying to talk, but he's fixing out his mic.
I see.
Oh, that's that. Sounds very low.
I've got a quarter of an hour left on the live show and still got a gap left in Discord if there's anybody who wants to express their views on the shape of the Earth. Hello, George. No.
I just wonder, how long is it going to be before we're going to have to like design a curriculum for all this?
Yeah, I got something in Master B.
I said that.
Maybe you want to talk about it.
I said that in the very beginning.
Yeah, I don't mind. That's was that Elijah? Sorry, I'll come to 10th Man in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, I said that like when I first joined the show, so many months ago. I had said like, in order for people to really understand this, there should be some sort of class to get them thinking about the fundamentals.
That is how I view the channel. Like I say, I list it as education for a reason. Okay, so I've got the law of non-contradiction slide up on screen, 10th Man.
Yeah, I took this excerpt from a book called The Consequences of Ideas by R.C. Sproul, and I just inserted where he puts A cannot be A and non-A at the same time and in the same relationship with geometric horizon. So I'll just read it. Law of non-contradiction. Something cannot be what it is and not be what it is at the same time and in the same sense or relationship. The physical geometric horizon cannot be physical and non-physical at the same time and in the same relationship. This is what we were talking about earlier, I think, with the cognitive dissonance and having two things in your mind at the same time contradicting each other.
Yeah, spot on. Can't declare that we have two horizons. One that is not visible, because by definition, a horizon is the apparent position, apparent meaning you can see it, where the sky meets the ground. So therefore, to say it's not visible, and not the position where the sky meets the ground, we cannot see it, but it is the horizon in our model, it's just to say it's not the horizon that we experience. Therefore, not the horizon in your model, therefore not comparable to reality anymore. But to hold the contradiction that it's both in existence, real and measurable and geometric, but also non-physical, non-experienceable, with bent lines to it, and no geometry capable, is a contradiction in terms that they hold very dear at the moment. Laughably so, because it's so glaringly obvious when someone like Sean G comes along and says, I've never claimed we have a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon. Well, good for you. You've still got a model that claims it, though.
Right. Because, if the horizon, the visual one, doesn't really match up with a geometric horizon in a model, then to call or to say that there is a geometric horizon would technically become incorrect. Because if you don't see it, then it's technically not a horizon anymore. You could claim there is a sphere edge, but it's not a horizon anymore because you would see it then. See? So they're basically misplacing the word horizon, saying geometric horizon when visually it isn't there, then it's no longer a horizon. It's just a concept.
Isn't that what I said? That's why we call it the geometric thingamajig.
Right.
Because it's not a horizon. Horizon is something you see. You don't see it, it's not a horizon. Thanks.
Yeah, well, just substitute thingamajig for reification. It's the geometric reification. Right. Just an X in a model with the word horizon next to it that doesn't really exist in reality, isn't the horizon we experience, it's the geometric reification.
Pretty much.
So what I get a lot is they tell me, how can you change your by watching YouTube videos? So I'm so glad that you're listed as educational, because what am I supposed to believe? The crap that they're, because that don't make sense.
What was the statement they said about YouTube videos? You clicked on that.
They say that I got my education and I changed my views by watching some people on YouTube.
Okay, so a platform where someone could put good information as well as compromised information is now all bad. You know how many things?
So
Hang on, Chocolate. You know how many things I have fixed mechanically by going to a YouTube video?
Same here.
Yeah.
I mean, we might need to tell all those professors that have all these videos conducting classes and giving lectures on YouTube. We might need to tell them they might need to remove that. It's not educational. Like, what the hell?
I learned half chemistry from YouTube.
Half chemistry?
Like a year ago. Yeah, chemistry. I redug it up. I thought like, yeah, I gotta get more insight on this.
Just 1 second, I'm going to shout out Emma UK, who's another YouTuber. So lots of YouTubers subscribing, super chatting today. So Emma UK, don't forget social distancing with a tongue out. Yeah, I'll just touch my face while I think about that. Yeah, go and subscribe to Emma UK. She also runs a similar show to this. She has people on. She's got a panel. So yeah, subscribe today. Click those 3 dots next to her name. Go to channel. Click the subscribe button. Thank you very much for the super chat, Emma UK.
Shout out to Emma. Emma's also awesome. Love you, Emma.
Yesterday, I went to visit my folks, and my dad said, "Let's go to the store get some meat." So we went there, and he stepped at the cash register. He was like 6 feet, 5.5 feet away from this guy, and the cashier says, "Oh, you need to be 10 feet away." And I looked at her, I go, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "This is the new rule." And I go, 10 feet away. Really? I thought it was 6. When did it go to 10? And I go, and it's all nonsense, by the way. She just gave me a look.
I'm getting dirty looks when you try to pay with cash.
Yeah, I think that's probably on the docket.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Certainly.
I was going to say something about the relativity claims of the gravity well.
Thank God. Go ahead.
Well, I've been kind of studying it a little bit, but if you try to like physically model it, or if they did try to physically model it, they would end up with the Flat Earth Society pizza disc rising through a vacuum.
Okay, talk me through that. I don't follow. You're saying if they model the gravity well, the end result of the actual model would be to have a reified pancake flying up at 9.8 meters per second through a sky vacuum. Feel free to fill us in. Where's the connection?
Well, they say that the Earth is as likely to be rising up to meet you when you fall as you are to be falling to meet it, right?
So it's both equally unlikely.
Hold on, let's just nod along. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's kind of, it gets a little bit funny through it, but they had an argument about that back in the 1930s, I think, or 20s, but they said that gravity, or whatever this mysterious magical thing is, allows reality to warp, right? And that's where they get the walls of their container, I guess, is from. It sounds so stupid saying it. No wonder they never want to talk about it. But
no, they don't warp reality. It bends space.
Yeah, it bends
the
space.
linearity of space, supposedly.
Okay, but I'm trying to get. I want to hear his connection between that and. Go ahead.
Well, Einstein said that because if the Earth's rising up to meet you as likely as you are falling to meet it, that couldn't work for the people on the other side of the ball, the people that are antipodal to yourself. So they made some equivocation to the Earth being flattened out because of this warping of space-time. Now, it's not actually how is it they say it, but anyway, like four-dimensionally, if you were a four-dimensional being, you would see the Earth that way.
Okay, it's fairly loose, but I can kind of see where you're going. Anything more to add to that?
Well, it's the claims are here and there. They've never actually put them all together into one. But like if you take each one of their claims and just kind of stack them together, you kind of end up with what their gravity well claim is really akin to the Flat Earth Society's pancake in a vacuum.
Fair enough. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, this is where we bid you farewell. If you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980 and you did want to watch these shows live, then you need to subscribe to my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley. Another thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask a question on that last question? Is he still here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this fourth dimension that you just said, and the antipodal stuff. So am I to assume that's time, with the other three being length, breadth, and width? Is that
length, breadth, depth, time? Yes.
Well, the problem really comes is that they can't describe everything as being physical, so they have to create a conceptual universe in which to explain everything being physical, which kind of defies the whole logic.
So they invent time to fill in all the loose areas of their model, but they can't do it with the reality that's here.
I don't think that's his point. He's saying when you try and stack up what they describe with the gravity well, you have a problem with the people on the antipodal position on a sphere, because obviously it's got to work the opposite way. It can't be travelling up and down to meet somebody on one side of the sphere and the other. Therefore, what he's suggesting you would end up with, if you reified that version of Einsteinian fourth dimensional pseudo-Ramonian force space, you'd end up with a pancake flying up at 9.8 meters per second, according to him. I mean, it's a little bit scrappy, but if you're saying that they've had this thrashed out back in the 40s and the net result was to say that the opposing side to the idea of presumably Einstein, which was relatively new or 30 years old, maybe 40 years old at the time, they would say no, that would end up with a pancake flying up through space. I think that's what it's going at, as opposed to describing how it won't work. Neither of them work. They're both reifications. Time's just a concept. Space-time bending, you can't bend concepts, etc., still all applies, 10th man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, in my mind, see why they couldn't just make up more crap and
they can.
The antipodal people had the same thing happening to them, and upside down doesn't mean anything.
Well, it's only
it depends on the person, because I've asked somebody that very question. Because if two people are antipodal from each other, right, in the Einsteinian world, they both drop something. Well, which way is the Earth moving upwards to meet them?
No. You only start the mathematics from one position.
Yeah, but I think in the really is level. So I have to think if two people are on the opposite sides of the world and gravity works in the way that Einsteinian says it does, well then which way is the Earth moving to meet that object?
What about the poor buggers on the equator?
No, it's only being done for one mass, one instance, not two. So, while I understand what you're saying and you're right, that's just not how their maths works. So, they're not going to run that through their maths because that's not what their maths is designed to do. You'll start on one position and that position will be the top. Then you'll do all the maths and then ignore all of that maths when you move to the second position. And then you'll start from scratch again. And it'll all make sense in both instances. Let's move on. That's what they'd say.
Yeah, I know.
So both instances.
Well, every time they say it's an inertial force or gravity well, I think that's I don't know.
It's wrong.
I just
Just wrong. It's not a force. You can think of it as a force, though.
I love that terminology. So
And I'm an idiot for watching YouTube videos.
And by the way,
I'll come back
what's
with some
gravity again?
Well, in this instance, it's a little well. You could imagine it, Chocolate, if you got like a trampoline and stretched it out and then dumped a massive bowling ball in the middle. You know how it'd all warp downwards in one direction for the people on the top of that bowling ball? Well, that would be kind of akin to the warping of space-time. Obviously, you can't bend a concept. But if you try and reify it, you end up with a ball with the people on the bottom squashed against the bent space-time and the people on the top experiencing the effect if you do the mathematics for them only. Obviously, you then turn the ball over if you're going to do it for the people on the bottom.
Okay, I see. So, bullshit. Okay.
No, trampoline space-time. It's all very simple. They explain this to children.
Trampoline space-time.
Yeah, they show it to kids. Literally, they show that to children.
That's why they use the term jump to hyperspace, right?
So I don't send my kids to school.
Which, by the
So
way,
when the
that's
model-
moon.
So when the model does not match reality, then stuff gets made up, right? This is what they're doing.
Well, they used to smear a new layer of bullshit on top, but now they can't. The black swan has left the model untenable. Hey, Brian.
Well, another thing that's left
Hey,
the globe untenable is the Selenelion eclipse. It's crazy how no one talks about that.
I know you've been on that. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on it until someone defeats it because it's just as definite as the black swan. It's like I love the black swan if people have 5 minutes to listen, but if they have 1 minute, then you got to introduce the Selenelion, because anything more, that's why the black swan is beautiful too, because it's a great representation of what you're saying. But if
wasn't it you and me talking?
If they don't care about the radius, that's why you say, okay, you know how shapes and shadows work. You literally have to get that dumb.
Right, was it you and me talking when we were talking about this? And I said, well, the Selenelion is kind of like the black swan for eclipses.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen, right? Especially from the direction the shadow's coming in, and that's a black swan that's another black swan. If you look at it that way.
What's funny
that's
is
how I see it.
It shut Rumpus right like Rumpus came in and he was just talking his usual circle, and I was like, yeah, but what is a Selenelion eclipse? And he's like, I haven't looked into that in quite a while. I'm not saying I don't know what it is, but I have to look into it, how that's happening. And then he
said he actually had to go into his notes for that. I remember that. I was there. I was like, okay, Rumpus. It's weird for Rumpus to admit that he doesn't know something. So that was strange off the bat.
Exactly.
As Elijah
Well,
brought
he
it up,
admitted
hold on,
he
just one
had
sec,
it
Chocolate. Just one sec.
filed.
Just one sec. Elijah, can you go through what the Selenelion, if I'm saying it correctly, probably not. Can you just explain to my audience what that is, please?
Yeah, so in the heliocentric model, you have the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon lined up like some billiard balls, right? So what it's supposed to be is you have the Sun above the horizon. Well, actually, what it is you have the Sun and the Moon above the horizon, and the Sun, the Earth is casting a shadow on the Moon from the Sun's light. The problem is both objects are in the sky, so it's impossible for the Earth to be casting the shadow on the Moon. But that's okay. That's not even the worst part. The worst part of it is that the shadow moves inverted. It's upside down. It's going the wrong way.
Okay, let me just break that down because you kind of convoluted the two together. So I'll start with the heliocentric version. The heliocentric version is to suggest that, like billiard balls lining up in a row, the middle ball is casting a shadow on the third ball. So the light from the first ball is interrupted by the second ball, which casts a shadow on the third ball. That is the assertion of an eclipse in the heliocentric model. However, we have this event called the Selenelion, which is where you have both the Sun and the Moon above the horizon, i.e. the Earth, claimed to be a ball in the heliocentric model, is no longer that second billiard ball obscuring the light, causing the shadow. The further problem is the shadow itself moves in a completely different direction to the assertion that the heliocentric model would make if they were billiard balls causing shadows. So the two problems for the model is, one, that you have both of them in a position where they wouldn't be causing any shadows. In fact, one should be lighting the other when apparently, according to them, you're getting a shadow. So it makes no sense in their model.
Yep.
Yep. Beautiful.
Has anybody got a clip of that?
Yeah, I'll post it in the live in the debate chat box. I don't know if anybody can pull it from there. It's a GIF.
Yeah, okay. So if I jump to present in live stream chat. Yeah? God, there's a lot going on in here. I'm glad to keep this closed.
There it is.
Is this it with this all-seeing eye thing?
Oh, 1 second, it's loading right now.
No, that's mine
Right
warped.
now.
Oh, God.
My internet is trash. 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I have to... That. Okay, I've got it up. So it starts inside someone's house by the looks. He's presumably explaining, there you go, he's explaining how the lights cause the shadow with these representations of the claimed to be planets. Then presumably he's going to move on to actually showing a clip of the Sun and Moon above the horizon any second, hopefully. So yeah, this is what I've just... There we go. So there's the eclipse on the Moon. And then presumably it'll swing round and show that the Sun is still up any second. No. Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's not what I wanted at all. There's a clip that there's a dude, he's got a shaky camera phone, and he just flips the camera phone around from one side to the other and shows that the Sun is still up. That was what I was hoping that was going to be. Oh, well.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful.
I'll dig it out myself after the show's ended, so I know Russian Vids has got a copy of it, and there's a few other people that I know of. Hopefully I'll be able to dig it out without too much trouble. Yeah, there are certainly people who've caught it in an unedited transition. In other words, they just spin through 180 degrees and show that both the Sun and the Moon are above the horizon when they take the pictures of the eclipse. So, you know, that's what I was hoping that was, but it's not. It was okay.
It's funny, like all these guys can do is like, you know, you post something damning and they say, huh, even flat earth GIFs are low quality and blurry. Word? That's your concern?
Oh, unless it's demonstrating a point they want to make, then the quality is nigh on irrelevant. It won't matter if it's produced by National Geographic on the same quality of camera as we use. That'll be perfectly acceptable. Until it's demonstrated to be a black swan. Then it's a different story. That's my favourite black swan, you know, and always will be. The original will always be the best because it's the original. But my favourite black swan's going to be the National Geographic one where they went out on a boat with a flag and showed how the bottom of the flag was being obscured. But the horizon was behind the boat. Perfect black swan. Absolutely epic.
Oh, that's hilarious. Self-owned.
As you'd expect. As you'd expect, because
I'm sorry.
The Earth is flat, obviously and observably. So the demonstrations that are going to be claimed to be a sphere are just going to expose how non-spherical the world is, and that's no exception.
I posted 2 different pics of the same. I believe it was the same Selenelion, caught in 2 different places. They're in Master B.
Yeah, but they're both the moon. What I want is the video.
Okay. Yeah.
I want the video showing both of them up, because so far all I've got is the moon with an eclipse. Well, that's wonderful. Now you need to show that the sun's also above the horizon. But there we go.
I could try to find a video too if you want.
If you can find a video, I know there's at least one that I've seen that's completely unedited. Somebody standing on a hilltop, they twirl through 180 degrees and show the sun and moon with the eclipse. That's it. I know Russian Vids has got it, so if you want to search it out for yourself and you're watching and thinking, where can I find this? Just go to Russian Vids channel and search with the Russian Vids, you know, title.
Literally
Russian Vids
doing that right now.
How do you spell it? Anybody?
I mean, once you relinquish the geometric horizon, you relinquish all celestial claims with it.
It's Selenelion.
Perfect, thank you. And whoever said that from Discord, yes, are correct. The entire model falls in upon itself. It implodes upon debunking the geometric horizon based on R. So yes, absolutely. All of their stellar observations, all bunk immediately. All based on R also, correct. The whole model falls apart from this point forward. There's no going back, it's the end of the road for the globe model.
So in mafia terminology, the black swan whacked the globe.
Yeah. The full stop to the globe model, regardless of how long they claim it's been around or how long it's actually been around, the punctuation mark to that incorrect assertion that we stand on a spherical surface in a sky vacuum was punctuated by the black swan. That was the end of the road. The end of the game. The game arguing about whether or not we're standing on a model or not, that's sphere-shaped, ended with the black swan. From this point on, it's just a slow, drawn-out death for that model in anybody's mind who still reifies it, because the model becomes untenable upon exposing that lack of geometric horizon, and no defence will be offered. The claim that from someone like Sean G that, well, I've never claimed it was a geometric horizon, will only ever result in the same response. Welcome to Flat Earth.
For sure. I mean, like, if we think that that's not true for the Globers, then you would be hard pressed to theorize on why they're not here right now. It's not just this server. It's the normie Globers that we usually talk to. Like, they're disengaging from us. When have they ever done that? They have hours upon days to argue about nothing. Now they don't want to talk. That's interesting.
It's because they've lost. as I say, there'll be a few people that can't quite wrap their head around the fact that we're saying it's the end, when everyone around them saying, oh, the black swan's meaningless, it's dead, it's not even a good argument anymore, it's been debunked, things like that. They'll listen to that and go, well, okay, but the guys on the Flat Earth debate are still saying that it's the end of the model, it's died, and that's a pretty bold claim. So they'll wander their way in and go, no, you don't understand, we can have a refracted horizon. And when we say welcome to Flat Earth, they don't quite understand why we're saying it.
Yeah, I don't think they get the argument.
No. Most of the time they can't even repeat the argument. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement must be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's the argument.
I think a lot of the ballers that they don't want to admit it, but I think a huge majority of them, and I mean 80% of them, didn't realise, maybe more than 80, didn't realise that the geometric horizon that boats were supposed to be going over was never visible. Most of them, like, this is news to them, and they don't want to admit it. A lot of them, I'm sure, won't even want to think about it themselves. But I don't think they realised that. I think they did really believe hardcore that there was this horizon that things were going over.
Yeah, they called it Earth Curve.
Yeah.
Way back when, yeah.
Well, back in 2019.
But they deny they said that.
Now they deny they say that. That's correct. Now they say things like, well, the model isn't reality. That'd be our argument. We don't have a geometric horizon. That'd be our argument. But they're starting to parrot back, well, that would be optics. Yeah, that'd be our argument. Not geometry, not your model, not 8 inches per mile squared, not physical obstruction at the horizon. All the things claimed by your geometry, all the things argued about with the mathematics of how much that Earth curve is blocking things in the distance. All that is dead. Gone. So there's no geometric Earth. Go on.
Sorry, Nathan. You know what makes that extra special? Shout out to Timmy Clown. When he came in here and said, oh, you guys have all these reasons why things get obstructed from the bottom up. All these optical reasons, right? And you deny the one reason that we know it is, because it's physical Earth curve.
Excellent.
Then later on, now we get told, oh, you guys forgot about optics?
Yeah, exactly. So we've gone from a position where we're being told all of this obstruction is only accountable to one cause. And here it is. It's called Earth curve geometry. It's the physical obstruction called Earth curve, otherwise known as a geometric horizon. Blocking things in the distance, we can qualify how much it matches our model. Look, there's this many feet and inches missing based on how much Earth curve obstruction at the geometric horizon. We've got blocking things in the distance, and we can qualify it really accurately. Now, what, we don't see a geometric horizon? Well, what happened to, we see Earth curve blocking things in the distance, here's the geometry, here's how much it matches. Now they're relinquishing the very necessity their model utilises to claim Earth curve. So it is literally game over. There's no turning back.
Yeah,
next on the list will be,
that's the real globe killer, because what's going to happen is they in the years to come, they won't be giving us any pictures or videos of boats going over the curve, because the black swan will follow. So they have nowhere to run.
Well, it's also the end of the line, because there was a point in the debate maybe 2 years ago where we appreciated that there was no longer going to be any claims of Earth's sphericity from the sky vacuum. Now, they only had 2 points of attack in terms of claiming that the Earth was a sphere. 1, we've got pictures from space. 2, you can measure it at ground level. That was it. Those are their claims of sphericity in their entirety. Here's a picture of the globe. We know it's a globe. We've taken pictures of it. And if you want to measure it, boats go over the horizon. Boats go over Earth curve. Here's the geometry. You can measure it yourself. Well, once we got rid of the sky vacuum, you can't have gas pressure without a container. If the sky was a vacuum, that would be outer space, as claimed in the heliocentric model. The gas we're breathing would fill that space, because gas expands in all directions. Entropy debunks the sky vacuum, so you no longer have any claims of pictures of Earth taken from a fake place. The place isn't real, so the pictures aren't real. End of argument for globe Earth assertions from space and NASA. Bye-bye, totally debunked, untenable also. So what we're left with, endless arguments with the calculator, assuming R, them justifying their assumption of R, R pointing out that they're assuming R and them going, yeah, because we know it's a sphere. And then us debunking R giving you a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon. Horizon being the single location where the sky meets the ground, and it's not the one in your model. We never see it. That's it. No more ground assertions that you can check for yourself. No more sky assertions given to you by your masters. That's the end of the model. There's no more assertions for globe Earth. That's why it's so quiet. What are they going to argue with? They can't argue with space. They can't argue from the ground. There's no more claims of globe Earth to pad out. There's no more things to put heliocentric smear of nonsense over the top of, because we've rebutted it and ended in a draw. Well, it's just refraction. Yeah, until that refraction debunks the geometry you're basing the entire argument on. Then it's just an untenable argument for a model that isn't what we see. So no more assertions that we see what's in the model then. That's not reality. We don't have a geometric horizon. Well, there's nowhere to go. What are you going to claim Earth's sphericity with now? You don't have anything to claim it with. Literally nothing. Earth is obviously and observably flat.
Yeah, I'm going to be stealing this rant. I'm going to be clipping it and playing it for all my family and friends. That was beautiful.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what it is. It's a wrap for the globe, bro. Literally saying we have never seen the geometric horizon. You cannot see the geometric horizon, right? Saying that we've never claimed that this geometric horizon was physical. What? We've been around for a while. We've heard you guys say it. It's on tape. It's recorded. What do you guys think is going to happen here? I mean, I don't get it.
Don't they say you can't see it unless you take out Earth's atmosphere?
Right. So then when was it measured?
It never was.
Right.
I got a clipped out video on that too. I think it was an Orthodox that came in and argued about Al-Biruni. Oh yeah, I love Al-Biruni. Yeah, great guy. Great methods. What's that? We don't have a geometric horizon, never can see it, always refracted, never straight lines, can't do geometry. Well, Al-Biruni and his claim of an R value measurement is completely bunk then.
Another thing with Al-Biruni.
You forgot about optics, Nathan.
Well, I forgot about Fleur perspective, the thing that they completely disavow on account of the fact that we only have Earth curve geometry as the claim cause. We only have Earth curve sphericity. That's the only claim that causes things to disappear in the distance. Until you all deny it, then you don't have anything. At all.
That's the best part. He says, what about optics? But Timmy Clown has 76 reasons, optical reasons, why things would disappear.
And only one reason from the globe side of the argument for why they disappear. That would be Earth curve, formerly known as the geometric horizon, now denied by the fundies. It's beautiful.
I remember arguing the Al-Biruni argument back probably 2016, and because at the time I wasn't aware of my I wasn't arguing for the horizon. I was arguing at the time about him being on the mountain. The claim is that he's on a mountain and he measures a dip angle to the horizon. Now, we all know the story with that, because the horizon is not a physical place. But I said to every baller who came at me, I said, well, did he take in the height he was above the ocean? And now, whether he did or didn't, I don't know. But none of them ever came back to me. As soon as I asked that question, that was it. That was the end of that. They didn't want to take on board the fact that if he didn't take that dip angle, or didn't take in the height he was above the ocean into his calculation, then that kind of ruins it.
Yeah,
now, it's not the same as the Black Swan, but it's like a side piece. It's like,
no,
but
it's
did he take in
you're
the eyes
absolutely
of
correct.
the mountain?
You're absolutely spot on. That's correct. But they've got a bigger problem now. So at the moment, they're claiming that a point that should be visible based on geometry at about a mile away is refracted. Through a very short distance and virtually no transition of any difference that could be accounted for in reality, they're saying it's refracted at a mile. Well, how far's Alperuni looking? How many different gradients is he looking through? Is it refracted for him? Well, absolutely. If it's claimed to be refracted at a mile in the Black Swan, then it's definitely always refracted. They even tell us it's all refracted always. Q Quantum Eraser's comment underneath that video from Sean G. Oh, right. Rendering every single military operation obsolete.
Yeah. I'm wondering how long it's going to be before one of them comes in and argues that, look, it's just a model, Nathan. It's not reality. You know, one of them is going to have to say that.
It's already happened.
Within the argument.
Sean G said it yesterday. That's exactly what he said.
Yesterday.
He said exactly that.
Did he?
Yeah, exactly those words.
I was just going to say that.
No, did he really say that?
Yeah, he said exactly
I
that.
gotta go back and watch it.
Right, you
Oh
don't
my
need
God.
to. I've trimmed.
I didn't know that.
Hold on. Let me plug it. I've trimmed out Sean G toe tag Black Swan, or Black Swan Sean G toe tag. Sorry, and I've trimmed out that exact part and the first opening bit. So, because it's recommended to do this for YouTube videos to be a bit more successful, I take the best bit and trim it out. It's only about 20 seconds, and then play the intro, then play the full video. So at the beginning of that video, Sean G toe tag, the very first thing he says is, yeah, well, we're not actually living on the model. You don't compare that to photos. You're like, what? What, like we've done for 4 years? Yeah, it was great. Sean G's appearance here was fantastic.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Because he's just listening. To be fair to him, all he's doing is he's listening to the shite that they're telling him and just repeating it. The problem is that it's such utter contradictory nonsense that you're only going to end up humiliating yourself with that. So yeah, listen to what the fundies are using to explain the Black Swan. Come here and repeat it so we can have a damn good laugh at your nonsense. Trim it out and show an audience that you're relinquishing the required geometric, physical Earth curve edge horizon you used to claim block boats and islands. Great. Keep telling us how non-physical, non-geometric it is. We'll keep trimming it out and laughing at you.
So Sean G knows that we don't live in a Star Trek modeled world. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we don't compare photos to the geometric model, according to him. That's not reality. And what he got as a reply was welcome to Flat Earth.
But the scary thing is they think they won, even after that argument. He won the argument.
Well, you can't divine their thoughts. They say, well, I've won anyway. I get it in the comments all the time. People come to the comments. Someone called Only Pussies Block Me comes to the comments and says, Black Swan proves globe Earth. You're like, well, if that helps you sleep at night, fair enough. You know, chanting that shit won't really make it true.
Like a warm teddy bear, right? The Black Swan doesn't exist. It's not really affecting us. Let's go to sleep.
Ah, Mr. Snuggles. The Black Swan's been debunked hundreds of times. Sweet dreams.
Can you play that beginning, Nathan, just for our entertainment or education, should I say?
For our education purposes. I like your phraseology. Just give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves.
That was a classic part
when the Black
there
Swan first
yesterday
come
on
out.
that show. I'm sorry, go on.
When the Black Swan first come out, they did everything they could to not talk about the horizon.
Yeah, we're all
bendy crane refract.
We're all eyewitness, first-hand accounts. People on the show when QE put it out, and Nathan expanded on it.
I'm there, sorry.
Go ahead.
I've got to wait for the ad to play out.
Okay.
Watch the ads, people. Okay, I'm ready.
I'm not watching the ads if it's got Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm telling you now, Nathan.
Watch the ads.
Put on mute.
You are correct. We do not observe geometric horizon.
Welcome to Flat Earth. That's correct. We don't have a geometric horizon, but your model does.
The model isn't real. We don't observe on a model.
There you go.
Hold on 1 second. Let me. Way to go, Shaw G. Round of applause for you, brother.
We don't observe on the model.
You know, those two sentences made more sense than half the shit that we've heard all this time from these guys. So way to go, Shanji.
My theory is they're all on flat Earth, but it's just so embarrassing for us to point out, like, hey, remember that time that you thought it was a globe? Because they'll hang out with us for hours on end and talk with us until we say, hey, so you still think you live on a ball? And it's like, yeah, I don't really want to go through this right now. Why are you hanging out with us flatties then, man? Like, do you just want us to not mention it and allow you to be a flat earther without us just pointing out? Like,
it's a very interesting
Because we're
question.
happy.
It's
Because
a
we're
very
happy,
interesting question.
positive people who know what the nature of Earth is. That's why they want to hang around us. Because they're
Yes,
all
sir.
dying over there.
Right, that's wishful thinking. Again, we can't divine their thoughts, but it's a very interesting question. If you're convinced of your religious rhetoric and confident in it, there's no need to ever go around disclaiming that. You're just confident in your own heart that that's correct. There's no two ways about it. So, other than that basis telling me that, well, they've obviously questioned their own religion for them to be here in the first place, but that's still me divining their thoughts based on an assumption that you'd be confident in your own rhetoric were it true.
Well, that's what I've said before. Like, I don't understand the trolling, the hate, the insults. Like, if you're comfortable living on your magical spinning water ball, just live on it. Go ahead. Does it affect me? It's not real, but you can live that life in your brain if you want.
Hey, Babs.
There is a place. There is a place where you can
Hey,
have a
how's it going?
difference.
I wanted to offer a
Hang on.
suggestion
Can I
in light
finish?
of the.
Oh my! Hello,
Babs.
Babs. Do you wait to hear someone talking or not before you start?
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that. Anyway, no
Discord,
problem. I'm
just
almost
Discord.
done. I'm almost done. You remember there are topics like Arwen when I was, and this isn't the self promotion, but it's the one thing that we can have differences and everyone still be right. When we were discussing that one after show where it wasn't recorded or anything, Arwen was telling us his favorite food recipe. Then Nathan went through his favorite food, and then QE said this is the way he would cook things, and then I said this, and Chocolate said this, and all this stuff. And with some subjects, you can add a little spice and be correct, and not add a little bit spice and be correct. But not with the nature of the earth. That's just the problem. You can't have it be what you say, and then when the black swan comes in and says, well, we don't live on a model, so you don't have the variance there to have a little bit more spice, a little bit more this, and hang out and be okay. No, you're categorically wrong in the nature of the plane we live on. And you're calling it a ball. We're spinning when we're not spinning. All these things. So I just want to say there are some subjects where you can have differences and it's okay, but not this one.
Yeah, it's not an agree-disagree situation.
Well said.
Well said. Yeah. Go ahead, Babs.
Yeah, I was just going to make a suggestion in light of the recent YouTube censorship. I noticed that a lot of content producers like Roxanne and Brian Staveley normally post in their community tabs when they're going to be live, and that shows up in the subscription feeds. So as long as you set up when you're going to go live in your community feed, people are going to see that.
Yeah, I was doing all that
Over.
anyway, to be honest. But yeah, it does occasionally, not all the time. But yes, I think it's a helpful suggestion, despite the fact that I have actually tried that before I did what I've done, which has changed the shows to being premiering streams for the main part of my audience and then live on the second channel with a limited audience, because it is a limited audience. There's no two ways about it. And I still do all those things. I share the show on Facebook, Twitter. I do community posts on both of the channels that allow me to do so, Nathan Oakley and Nathan Oakley 1980. I stick it in Discord. I share the living daylights out of the shows and have done ever since I've done them, and encourage others to do the same. It doesn't change the fact that they're just not appearing in the as a live stream in the subscriptions feed. So that will, regardless of how much I was doing anyway, that way it still just has the same detrimental effect. But if you weren't doing that might help.
You're referring to something. I think you're referring to something different, because what I'm talking about is something completely different. Where you set it up where you say this is when you're gonna go live. Like it's sort of like a post.
Yeah, no,
it tells you when it premieres. Yeah, he's done that.
Sure.
Yeah, no, the last one I sent went to both of them. It went to Adam and to Steve, both at the same time.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Babs, yes, I know what a community post is. It's I do know what it is. But yeah, you're right. If you're not doing that already, you should be. But
Later in the day, just resubmittal. I know. He asked me.
Light energy on mute. So yeah, I was doing that anyway. In other words, the loss is just a net loss for me. There's nothing I can do to counteract that. But you're right. There are definitely things people should be doing anyway. One is sharing their own shows to all of their own social media platforms, which I do religiously anyway. Half the time mine don't show up though, because I do them religiously, so they just won't post half of them, which is just the way it goes for me. But if you aren't posting a community post to let people know that you're live, then you should be. I absolutely agree. But it's still having the same detrimental effect for me, because I can't increase the amount of social sharing I do. I do that anyway. I already share social media posts on YouTube, otherwise known as community posts.
Oh, I see.
But thank you. You're right. Thank you.
No worries.
Haven't heard anything from Quantum Eraser yet. Hello.
Eating breakfast.
Fair enough. As soon as you finish that breakfast, it'll be with that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, enjoy the pancakes all the same. And your glass of chocolate milk.
Not pancakes, scrambled eggs, toast, and chocolate milk. Ice cold.
Sounds delicious. That is unfortunately going to be where I round out the show. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Again, a massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels for making this after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!